All right. Good morning. Let me fix this. That's not going to work. Okay. All right. This is part 11 of my series, Why Women the Book, author's comments. Okay. I thought, I'd try to go a different way today. And try to explain, if you've been wading through these videos or watched even one of them, it's obvious, I'm a pretty smart guy, I'm a pretty loving guy, but I'm also, really pissed off. So let me just talk to you directly, okay? If you're like a little 20-something. Because, you have a right to know. I'm going to try to explain this to you, what I'm so mad about, and what I'm actually asking of you. That's fair, isn't it? I'm trying to tweak this angle here a little bit. I don't know. I'm trying to point it right at my head. Maybe it's working. Okay. So what am I so mad about? Here's what I'm mad about. This is why I'm mad at you, not you personally, but you as a class, as a group. When I was your age, you can, maybe you slept through this in your history class, the 15 minutes that talked about the Vietnam War. But what the Vietnam War and Nixon and Watergate and what all of that should have taught people, and could have and may have taught people if they were not Americans, is what it taught us in the 60s and 70s, which is, not that you should get stupid and not care about politics and that they're all corrupt and just don't care, just don't think about it. That's not what the lesson should have been, and that's not the lesson that we took. What the lesson should have been, and the lesson that we took is politics is really important. The founders of this country, which, come on, America is totally fucked up, and it's probably going to be dead in a couple of 100 years, if it can last that long. But still, it was a great idea. Those rich merchants who ran the revolution, drove the revolution, created the revolution, they really were trying to help the little people. Because they were rich, but they weren't rich like today's fat, stupid, greedy, filthy rich people. They were rich like rich people in Europe in the times after the revolutions, where rich people were dragged from their mansions and slaughtered by the masses. What those Europeans learned is it's okay to be rich. If you're lucky, if you're smart, if you're willing to break the rules a little bit, you can amass a great deal of wealth. The first point is the most important, though, if you're lucky. And so those rich people, reflecting on the fact that the masses rose up and slaughtered them, they got a different perspective on wealth. And the perspective that they got was, wealth is a gift from the universe. And you're not supposed to hoard it for your fucking unworthy children and their fucking more unworthy grandchildren and great-grandchildren and great-great-great-grandchildren. The problem with wealth is that once you have it, you covet it. And you cling to it, and then you do really bad, stupid shit that hurts people, and you don't have to do that. Europeans today pay what by American standards are really high taxes, but for European rich people, they're glad to pay those taxes, because they understand that if they don't pay those taxes, and if the masses get fucked bad enough, long enough, every place but in America, if that happens, those fucking fucked people are going to rise up and kill you, or your children, or your grandchildren, or your great-grandchildren. And they don't want that to happen. So they're still filthy rich. They still have lots of more toys than the masses. But they don't flaunt it like they do in America. They don't build gated communities. They live right amongst the people. Many of them do, in cities and towns. They don't hide their wealth, but they don't flaunt it. And they trust that their neighbors understand that their wealth is being confiscated, 50% of it is being confiscated off the top. Not 50% after every bogus bullshit loophole that they can exploit like in America, because in Europe they don't have all those bullshit loopholes. Because the purpose of the progressive tax in Europe is to confiscate the obscene wealth of the rich and redistribute it. Oh, Barack, I said the word. Oh, come on, man, you're smart. Just because the idiots in America are not allowed to hear that word because the Republicans have made it into a curse word. That's Christianity, people. That's Buddhism. That's compassion. If you think you're filthy rich only because of your own efforts, you're in delusion. And so in Europe, they understand this. In Canada, they understand this. They don't understand this in Latin America, where the filthy rich, instead of controlling 95% of the wealth, they control 99.999% of the wealth. And that's why every now and then the people rise up and kill those idiots, as they should, as they should. Okay? So here's the deal. Oh, digital. If you do a Google search on Digital Equipment Corporation, or DEC, you'll find the history of a wonderful company that I once worked with. They went out of business because they were too wonderful, and they weren't greedy enough. They're bad. Oops. Because the filthy, thieving, greedy computer companies, through, frankly, illegal business practices and other means, put them out of business. But they were a great company. For a long time, they were kicking IBM's ass, big, fat, stupid IBM, until big, fat, stupid IBM finally noticed that Digital Equipment was kicking their ass. And then they conspired with other big, fat, stupid computer companies to put them out of business. And it worked. They don't exist anymore. It was a magical company, though, when they did exist. It was run by computer engineers, like real people, not filthy rich bean counters and fucking accountants and lawyers. It was run by people who actually loved, not computers, they loved people. And their computers were wonderful productivity tools, cost-effective, bulletproof productivity tools, which were engineered much better than anybody else's computers. In America, by Americans. They were engineered and built by Americans in America. But that meant they were kind of more expensive than cheap shit that you can get built by slave labor in China. And so their competitors threw that slave labor in China, and not quite, but almost slave labor in the rest of Asia. They put them out of business. It's a sad story, but you don't care about that. The point is, and what I need for you to get is the myth of capitalism, American capitalism, the myth that if you just play by their rules, someday you'll be rich. It's a myth. If all of you follow all of their bullshit rules, maybe 1 in 10,000 of you, if you're lucky, might be able to eke out a middle-class existence. Let's be kind, an upper middle-class existence. 1 in 10,000 of you. Maybe 1 in 1,000 will be able to, live pretty well. Maybe 1 in 100 will at least be able to live. But the other 99 of you, you're fucked in this culture. So you're going to be one of those 1 in 99, most likely. If you happen to get lucky and that 1 in 100 that actually can live, don't think it's because of your own efforts. It's just because of luck. That's all, luck. I know I was one of those lucky people for most of my life. And at the time, I had the hubris to think that was because of me. Then I turned 50 and I got fired from my good buddies at Bell Atlantic, now Verizon. What a great name. I was there when the geniuses came up with that name, Verizon. I still got a bunch of shit that says Bell Atlantic on it because the marketing guys that we supported at the project I was on, by law, when you change the name of your company, you got to get rid of all the shit that has the old name on it because that old name doesn't exist anymore. So they gave it all to us. I've got jackets and hats and coolers and, I don't know, fanny packs. I've got like probably stored in the attic here in my home that I'm going to have to clear out because my lady friend who I gave the home to in 2005, I didn't really give it to her. I'm not going to explain the details to you. Suffice it to say, it was transferred to her under very paranormal, non-capitalist ground rules. Frankly, so that her son, my son, Jonathan, my stepson, as if he's not my son because I didn't, fuck his mom and conceive him. No, I just loved him and helped raise him, or maybe mostly raised him. I'll let him tell you. He'd have to make that judgment. In my judgment, maybe, but it doesn't matter. Anyway, the same reason I let her move in was because he needed a place to live where people actually loved him and referred to him as Jonathan, not that kid or that damn kid, or whoever. So that's why I ended up moving her in here, so I could move him in here and raise him. He was 4 years old, beautiful, precious child. So anyway, what do I need you to do? What I need you to do is I need you to wake up and start looking around you and start realizing how bogus and bullshit this entire paper tiger is. From the great play Hair from the 60s, a moving paper fantasy. That's exactly what you're living in, a moving paper fantasy. Listening for the new told lies with extreme visions of lonely tunes. Okay? This sucker is going down unless you help me stop what's going on. So here's all I need you to do. The women-man problem, let's just address that first. That's a trivial problem. I just picked that problem because it's so easy to fix that if we get an easy win in information technology, when I would recover a dying project that was on fire, the first thing I would do is I'd set up a couple of easy wins so that the team, my team, could get a victory. Because nothing succeeds like success. That's really true. I'm sure the early my descendants, my ancestors, leader whose people were well fed 30,000 years ago. You pick Galileo, Copernicus, Archimedes. The list goes on, and I'm just giving you names of Western people because those are the names I know. But okay, you want to hear Lao Tzu, Buddha, earlier the same guy Siddhartha. Couldn't just form one great world religion. Hinduism. That's when his name was Siddhartha. He was a rich prince in India, kind of bored, trying to figure out what the hell to do. So he invented a religion. And then it turned to shit. Of course, the Indians, very, very practical people, they just used that religion and they embedded the caste system, right into the religion. So he saw that. He's like, damn, that didn't work. Fuck. Well, maybe I got to go another way. So he, went on the Silk Road, hung out with a bunch of interesting people, went to China, got exposed to Taoism, which is a beautiful religion. It's not a religion, it's a spiritual tradition that honors the environment, honors nature, honors life, sees life in everything. So he saw that and he's like, well, fuck, that could work. That makes more sense to me. And so he founded Buddhism, which again, if you're looking for a spiritual tradition that doesn't have stupid shit like Judaism, Christianity, and sadly even Islam, although Islam's a little closer to the truth, because at least Muhammad candidly admitted there's only one God. You all want to kill each other over who's got the right God. That's stupid. Whatever God you think you're worshiping, it's not my God, it's not your God, it is God. So, you can kill me because your God, you think your God told you to kill me. Your God didn't tell you to kill me. I know, because your God and my God are the same God. And although, centuries later, idiots are going to kill people in the name of my teachings, Islam, they're wrong. That's not what I'm saying. You can't fix anything by killing people. Then their kids come and kill your kids. What the hell? And then their grandkids come and kill your grandkids. And then your great-grandkids go and kill their great-grandkids. And eventually you idiots get nuclear weapons, and then that's the end of the ballgame. If somebody throws one of those puppies, the Israelis nuke Tehran. If that has already happened, you're listening to this in a bombed-out, basement, because we're all dying of radiation poisoning if we're not lucky enough to already be dead. That's what Jesus understood, He's in seminary, he's in rabbinical school, and he's reading about the one true God. Our God has a bigger dick than your God. We're the chosen people. This is our chosen land. God gave this land to us. This is a covenant. We're going to kill you and steal your shit. He knew that wasn't going to work. Maybe he was an alien, maybe because he was an alien, the aliens on that mission knew by surveying many, many planets, they knew when people start talking that shit, if you come back in 10,000 years, all you're going to find is radioactive dust. Maybe that's where he came from. Fuck, if you know more than me. by faith, I guess I'm supposed to believe as a born-again Baptist Christian, he was the one true God, and yada, yada, yada. Come on. Maybe, but I'm pretty sure not. He was a really smart guy, though. And, the apostles said that he said the most important commandment is to honor God. I bet he didn't say that at the Last Supper. But I bet he did say what they said was the second thing, which is that the real commandment is to love one another and to love everyone the way you would want to be loved. Not because they deserve it, not because if you love them, they'll buy you a car. No. You love them for the simple fact, not even to get to heaven. You really think that's where you're going? Well, the reason you love people the way you would want to be loved, especially your enemies, is because, as Jesus said, I'm sure it sounded better in Aramaic, it's the only way the world can work. So what I need you guys to do is I need you to stop getting chicks drunk and raping them. And instead, I just need you to love them. It's not that hard. It really isn't. In my book, I try to show you what a life of loving women has done for me. But if you read closely, you will find that, sadly, when you do that, bad shit happens to you. But you have to get okay with that. And that's what Buddhism taught me. It's okay if you do the right thing and it doesn't make you rich or famous or make people love you. That's okay. You're not doing it for them. You're doing it for you. The cost of being a greedy, hateful, unloving person is not that you go to hell and burn forever. Come on, what's the chances that that's what happens? No, the punishment, the sin, if you will, of living badly is that then you live badly and you have a fucked up life when you could have had a real life. So what I'm asking you to do is to stop living the life you're living and to start living a real life. If I could even just get a couple of thousand of you to start doing that, 10,000 might be the magic number, because with mass culture and mass communication, it used to be where everybody just followed orders. You only probably had to get 10 guys in a room, you work something out. Okay, this is what we're going to do, this is the plan, then you just tell the idiot followers, what to do, and they do it. You can build great civilizations. I'm thinking right now off the top of my head of the Egyptians, but the Arabs had some great success. If you just do a casual look at history, the reason that the Crusades were fought was partially because the Catholic Church were idiots, but also partially because the Islamic culture, Persia, it was ascendant, man. They were kicking our ass. You look at that map, man. They had a lot of Europe before the Crusades. They might have even had a toehold in what is now England. So certainly Spain, southern France, all of Italy, up into across the border, encroaching from the west. Man, those fuckers were on the march. So see, I can even have compassion for the Roman Catholic Church, the idiots, because they destroyed Europe and ushered in the Dark Ages. But they did fight those guys to a standoff. They couldn't beat them, because at the time they had a superior culture. But then they got stupid and they churned a religion where the founder, Muhammad, commanded his people to send scholars all over the world and to study and preserve the great works of other peoples and other nations, the great religions of other peoples and nations. The reason he told them to do that is he knew there's only one God, and so maybe those fuckers have a perspective that you've missed. Maybe they know something you don't know. And so, you don't fly airplanes into their skyscrapers, you don't put, strap bombs to women and walk them into a square and blow up a bunch of those people. That's not what you're supposed to do. Idiots. No, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to live among them, learn from them, find out what they know, preserve it, bring copies of their books and their great art back to your civilization and share it with your people, to enlighten them, to help them appreciate, and to demonstrate clearly there's only one God. How could there be more than one? How could it be that my God has a bigger dick than your God? How could it be that my God has a dick? I mean, come on. How can it even be that God has gender? That's ludicrous. Our Father who art in heaven, really, Daddy is up there? Is that what's going on here? Probably not. Okay, yeah, you can be a Christian if you need to be. I'm you know, if you ask me now, on a good day, I would probably even say I am a Christian, because I'm trying to do what Christians do, love people, and do the right thing all the time, because that's what Jesus, God or not, that's what Jesus was saying, to those illiterate, ignorant, frightened Jews and Gentiles that he proselytized to for just a few years before they finally said, "Whoa, we better kill this guy." They didn't kill him because he was telling people not to fornicate. Man, the Romans, they were championship fornicators. They loved to fornicate. They didn't kill him because he said don't fornicate. I'm not even sure he said that, but even if he did, they wouldn't kill him for that. They killed him because he said love everybody. You can't run an empire loving everybody, man. That ain't going to fly. So they had to kill him. Of course, in killing him, they ensured that he'd become the founder of a famous great religion. And eventually, the empire was subsumed and became a Christian empire. How's that? Karma really is a bitch. So, read the book if you can. If I can finish it, read it. If you're willing to buy it, great. I'll make some money, and I won't have to live out of my Saturn and on food stamps. But even if you don't buy it, if I get on Oprah someday, listen to the show. Even if you're in the Washington area and I can get one of my great shows on National Public Radio, WAMU, if I can sit with Kojo Nandi for an hour, talk about the book, or maybe hot Wendy Rieger, News 4, maybe hang out with Wendy for a little 5-minute segment. If I can just get 5 minutes of fame, that might do it. I'm hoping. But in case that doesn't happen, you'll still be able to read the book if I ever finish it. And I'm hoping to finish it by my birthday, July 19th. So, don't do it for me, man. Do it for you. Ladies, all I need from you is feminism. The original deal was really pretty simple. Your wife, if you marry me, I'll still give you a blowjob every now and then after we're married, and I'll still enjoy sex with you after we're married. That was what the women were offering at the beginning of feminism. And what the men were offering in return is, you can't take my job. You can't fire me if I compliment you, or get me fired if I compliment you. You can't sue your employer because it's a hostile work environment, because the guy said nice titties. No, that was not the contract. What men were offering is, you can compete fairly for any job. And if you win that job fairly, you can get the same wage that I would get as a guy. That was the contract. Women get equal access to employment. Men get equal access to their mouth and their anus and their pussy, even if you marry them. Well, as you may have noticed, the women reneged on all those deals. Most of them still wanted you to marry them, and after they married you, they immediately stopped giving you blowjobs. And I never fucked my wife up the ass, not even once. I fucked almost every other lady friend I had up the ass repeatedly. They loved it, but not my wife. I think she gave me maybe 4 blowjobs in the 12 years we were married. And before we were married, oh man, in the basement of her house, she's sucking me off on the pool table, because that was Daddy's house, so she was stealing something from Daddy. But after we got married, no dick in my mouth. That was her policy. I have a headache, ask me again next month. Turned into I have a headache, ask me again next quarter. Turned into I have a headache, ask me again next year. Turned into fuck you, asshole. So, it got a little bad there the last 10 years of the 12 years. But the first couple of hours were okay, and it really, even the honeymoon wasn't terrible. It was okay. I think it was only a week or two after we got back that things started turning really bad. So, boy, Patricia, she was a piece of work. German-British man, my bad. So, enough about me. Read the book. See how I've lived my life. Listen to my arguments. If you agree with any of it, ladies, help me. Get your guy to read the book. Just tell him you won't fuck him until he reads it. Or maybe you'll still fuck him, but because you need it. But you won't. You'll still even give him blowjobs, but they won't be as good. And he can't fuck you up the ass till he finishes the book. And you're going to give him a test. You're going to test him, because it'll only take you probably 2 hours to read the book. He's going to have to take breaks every 15 minutes to get a sandwich or take a nap or play a video game for 15 hours. So it's going to take him a long time to read the book. But if you make him read it, it might change him, and that might help us all. It might save us all. Because and I know You're already changing. You've already figured this out. You know this sucker's going down. If you have children or you're thinking about having children, you weep and you're in terror for the world they're going to face. So let's fix this, ladies. You can help me. You've helped me my whole life. So why would you stop now? Oh, I'm sorry, I just farted. If that's on the tape, my bad. I'm kind of a bohemian kind of guy. Okay, so I think that's it. Let's see how we did. Oh, look, this is the first time I actually came to you not in clothes, but in a robe. One of these days I'll do one of these, completely naked, because that's really what we are. We're naked, frightened little mammals with big brains. That's all we are. So I'm going to try to stop this. I'm going to pan around to my Starbucks mug. Oh, wait, no, I didn't drink from it. Trademark. Starbucks. I listened to the last tape. It was rich hippies in Seattle, Washington who started Starbucks. And it was a great place when it started. It wasn't a fat corporation. I bet back then a latte didn't cost $10. Okay, all right. Let's do a one pan, beautiful morning, and then we'll stop. You ready? Pan shot, 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 panning. Spike Lee, did you like that little jerkiness there? Isn't that awesome? Okay, high pan shot, high pan shot, high pan shot. Look at the sky today. What a beautiful day. It's not fucking raining. Thank God. So look at this sycamore, though. Isn't that beautiful? How could you not love life? Sitting under a wise, mature sycamore tree. I mean, it doesn't get much better than that. And there's a pine tree there. That pine tree is probably this guy's cousin. See the pine tree there in the distance? Beautiful pine. Another pine tree over there in back of Stu's house. A couple of bullshit scrub trees that should have been dug out by me. But even the bullshit scrub trees have a right to live. What do you think of that? Yeah, what do you think of that? Islamic fundamentalists wouldn't like that kind of talk, would they? All right, so let's stop this, and we're done for now. Thank you for listening.